must be very proud of the way your guys sort of hang in games and play till the end and play hard all night through, even worn out through game 4 nights, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's another really gritty, tough effort staying in there. Very, very similar to some games. Again, I repeat myself a lot here, but we got in there at halftime, and I was like, we're in really good shape. It could have been a lot worse than this, and hung in there again, and we seemed to play really well in the third quarters. So if there's ever a deficit to make up, we seem to do that fairly well in the third, and then we knew we were in for a ball game, and we made a lot of big plays in the fourth quarter.
The adjustments you made in Miami were more defensive at halftime. What tonight did you do to sort of get your scoring sort of unlocked?
Well, I think that when you're just a step off of things, I thought we were a little bit half step off, just kind of mentally and physically, probably understandably so. They probably were too a little bit. We just got a little sticky in our spacing. We were clogging up, space for Freddie and Pascal and Gary, those guys that need some space there. We were just kind of walking into their space rather than cutting hard away from it to clear some space for them. That was one thing that we, tried to make a concerted effort to change, and I think we did. We were having a hard time getting much pace into the game in the first half, right? And the other big thing is I thought we left a lot on the table at the rim. We were getting hit a little bit or bodied down low or whatever, but we had to finish some of those, and I thought we did a little better job of that as well.
Say with a guy like Gary, I think he's shooting over 50% from three-point range in 5 games now. He's just in one of those zones, or what do you see from him out there?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're watching it too. It's every time he starts isoing, you're expecting him to walk away with a bucket these days, and no matter what he has to do, I like that he's kind of throwing some variety at him. I think he's growing there. He's got the step back. Obviously, he's starting to drive a little bit more. He's starting to pump fake and draw some fouls at the end of some of those drives. So he's getting a little more of just other than the step back, right? So that's good to see. And yeah, he's just full of confidence, and he's obviously really hard to guard right now. He's creating his own space and getting clearance to get those shots up, and he's feeling it.
Sorry, go ahead, Josh. That's okay. Go ahead. You mentioned Fred and sort of the spacing not being ideal in the first half, and he had 2 shots in the first half, which is, it's been a while since we saw that. At that point, given how much your guys have played, do you get nervous that maybe the energy isn't there, or is that faith they're going to find?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you got to kind of see what the game plan is for what you're going to see each night, and obviously they were Jimmy Butler on Freddie, and they were really kind of pulling towards him too. Even when he had the ball, they were willing to take their chances off kind of making it a long recovery to the pass out, right? So again, just closing down his space, and that so we were trying some things, getting him off the ball. We were trying to get some different combinations of screen and rolls, trying to get him to get off it and then relocate out. Just some different things that. And he found obviously found it, and I thought he was about as aggressive as he's been taking it inside in a while. He put his head down and went into the paint a lot tonight, which he made a lot of good plays from there.
I think a streak of a billion games with 3 3-pointers in a row ended.
Oh, really?
Mistaken. So too much driving, I guess.
I didn't know he had a streak of that going. Would have drawn up another play for him, Eric.
You got the 12 and 7 from Precious, but even Chris and Delano, just 4 points, but they gave you some good minutes. What did you think of the bench?
Yep, they were all really good. I thought, especially Precious. He was playing. He had one of those nights where he was playing with his athleticism and his size. He was at the rim. He was above the rim some. He kept some balls alive. I just thought he was playing hard. Right, first of all, and Delano I give a lot of credit to too. Again, I think he came in and like he does. He keeps the pace up. The offense seems to find good shots when he's in there. It doesn't seem to be such a grind, right? He'll get it up the floor quick. He'll get us into an action quick. It'll get changed sides of the floor real quick. So, and I thought he was in there battling inside pretty good on the glass and stuff too. I'm not sure he grabbed any, but he was keeping some alive and tipping some and being involved in them. Yeah, he didn't have any, I don't think. He had one offensive one. So, but he was around him. He was a problem. He was protecting the rim a little bit. So yeah, and I thought Chris was pretty solid. You know, not a ton of minutes, not a ton of shots, but made some plays.
Over these last 3 games, what have you learned about this team? You know, like you mentioned the greediness, the toughness, but like was that a trait that you always knew the team had, or is that something you're discovering about the team?
Well, I think we've probably learned that it can go to a pretty high level, right? What I've learned is the same thing I've talked about in the pregame, is they're getting some connectivity on defense. They're getting some real understanding of where to go and what to do on offense, and everybody's chipping in. You know, there's some threats all over the place in different ways. Our wing size is paying off for us. I think we end up with a bunch of buckets a night with Scotty, OG, Pascal, over the top of a smaller player, right? Either on putbacks or just post ups or early rim runs or stuff like that. So those are nice buckets to get. But you know, they're finding that 5 guys are finding a good chemistry, and obviously they're playing very well.
Stayed with Pascal and 3 fouls in the second quarter, and then took Gary and Freddie both out at the start of the fourth. Do you consider those gamble moments?
Well, you probably noticed as well that we've added Delano to the group when Freddie's out, right? And just to be sure it doesn't get a little, uncomfortable handling the ball. And again, it's not only has it taken that out of it, it's been a really good addition there. Yeah, I mean, there was some thought to keeping Gary running through the quarter again, like we did last night, just because he again was rolling a little bit. But heck, we ended up taking him out and leaving him out for almost 5 minutes, I think. And I don't know, those guys they came out and played. I thought they put a good spurt on, if I remember right there at the start of the quarter. So we had some good energy guys out there.
Pascal, 3 fouls in the second quarter. Are you a coach who wants to get a guy? Obviously, you're not a coach who wants to get a guy out to let him think about it and not commit the fourth. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a gamble, Doug, for sure. I think that, I was probably thinking that, this game may get away from us, right? We just got to hang in here and willing to take the risk and worry about it later if something goes the wrong way.
Gary mentioned last night that he's feeling comfortable. He's not looking over his shoulder. He knows that even if he screws up, he's going to continue playing.
Yep.
How important is that for any player, and how important is that for him to create the success?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. They can't be worrying about making mistakes and it costing them minutes, right? I really try hard. I know I don't always do it, but I really try hard, even when they do make a couple, to let them try to play through it in the moment, right? I don't like to. The guy comes down, dribbles it off his foot, and take him out and make him make that long walk over to the bench while he just dribbled one off his foot. I don't really like that, so I try to let him play through anyway. But I mean, I think we're there with those guys. They're going to play. I didn't again. Not all of them. Maybe were at their super best tonight. But you kind of think about it and you look around, all of them kind of made big plays at some point down the stretch, right? Like, I don't know what OG ended up with. It seemed like he hit 13, but he had 2 huge buckets at the end. And he got in and set some great screens to free us up, down the stretch as well. He wasn't getting a lot of touches or a lot of opportunities, but again, just like last night, he made a big play at the end, and they're all capable of doing that.
Nick, early fourth in Miami is when the Heat made their run, and you pretty much had to commit to the starters the rest of the way. This time, early fourth, they give you that nice run. What did you specifically like about what that sort of 6-9 group did?
Well, I thought they were just playing really hard, right? They were staying with it. Sometimes we talk about let's not leave the offensive end until we put it in, right? We had a couple putbacks, offensive, just we're getting decent shots, but the guys are just going in there and making the rebounding a priority. And they were lively. We'd score a bucket and you'd look up and you'd see all 5 of them just sprinting absolutely as hard as they could back to get the defense set up. They were doing a heck of a job. We were in zone for a long time, and they were kind of makeshift and working their way through some of the, they were overloading us and running cutters one way, and they were making it a challenge, and our guys were just kind of talking it out. So there was energy and communication.
It feel good to get that lob to OG after not getting it the other night.
Yeah, it sure did. It was good. That was a heck of a pass by Scotty. Gutsy pass and a good play.
2 questions for you online, Nick. Go ahead, Nelson.
Hi, Coach. Nelson from Hispanic Source Media. I'm sure you can see me now. Here.
Hi, Nelson.
What does this game mean in terms of confidence for this team, beating a Miami team that's considered a contender this season, especially like on consecutive games?
It's good to win. For me, I think that should give our guys some belief that we can play. We can play against anybody in the league. We got to play really hard, and we got to have a great effort, and we got to have guys perform. But we can play. That's for sure. And we're trying to grow. And I don't know. Let's again just hope we can keep growing and play this hard. That's all we ever ask for. Go out and give a great effort, and then we feel like we deserve to win.
Thank you. And last question from Oren. Go ahead, Oren.
Hey Nick, congrats on the win. You talked about how everyone in that closing lineup was just making plays down the stretch. But this is the second night of a back-to-back. You guys have played a lot of games recently, and as anyone who watches the NBA knows, that's not always the case on the second night of a back-to-back for a lot of teams where guys are playing that hard, that many minutes, that late in games. So can you speak about just the heart of this team and their willingness to make those winning plays even despite the fatigue?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal, right? I think it's a big deal, and I think that they're doing a really good job of not thinking about that. Even though everybody's talking about it and asking them about it and talking about it some more, and they're lost in the competition. They really are. They're lost and they're digging in, and there's none of them asking me to come out, right? They're not saying I can't do it, I'm too tired. So they're digging into the competition, and they're enjoying that. And I'm glad they're playing super hard, and I'm glad they're getting some results for their work.